guys, this is a mating session between General and Jack. We've mated these dogs about 5 months ago when Jack, which is the female dog on your screen, you can see her. She came on heat about 5 months ago and we mated her with General, but the mating was unsuccessful, or let me put it this way. Jack was pregnant at some point. We noticed she was pregnant, but 4 weeks into the pregnancy, she fell ill. She was sick, so we had to terminate the pregnancy so we can focus on saving the mother, right? So we terminated the pregnancy and commenced treatment within that period. So over the last 3 months, we focused on making sure that our female dog Jack comes back to full recovery, and you can see she's super healthy. She has recovered, and that is why we are starting this mating session. So she came on heat about 10 days ago. Yes, about 10 days ago. So today is the 11th of April 2026. We are commencing the first mating session between Jack and General. Okay, so you can see that General is all prepared. He's ready. He has already perceived active heat. He has already perceived that our female dog is ovulating. You can see they are both excited. Jack is excited. You can see she's flagging her tail. This is a very, very good sign that she accepts the male. She's not ready. She's not going to fight the male for any reason, right? And for those of you that are saying we are complaining why we always put our female dogs on a leash, this is because we want our female dog to be at a spot during the mating session. We don't want her to be roaming about. It's okay for the male dog to move from one place to the other, just to be sure that the female dog will not be aggressive to him and all of that. But for our female dog, she will always be on a leash, and we will have our mouth guard on for safety, right? For safety. So you can see that we are putting on we are putting her a mouth guard, so we can carry on with mating procedures. Okay, so our female dog is actively ready. She's ovulating. We didn't conduct any progesterone this time around or ovulation test using a detector. We didn't do that because we are very, very sure of when Jack starts to ovulate. She's currently ovulating because she has been urinating frequently. She's flagging at her tail, okay? And then she's not fighting off the male. You can see she's just lying down, exposing her vulva because she really wants this mating procedure to happen. So guys, today is the first mating session. In 2 days' time, we'll be commencing the second mating session. So subscribe to our channel, and we hope to see you in our next video.
The floor is yours. Your Honor, the defendants claim that adopting a dog will improve our mental state and make us happier is sheer lunacy. Dogs are messy, unruly animals. If allowed into our lives, this animal will shed everywhere, raid the trash cans, poop and pee in the house, and bark constantly. And the dog in question is a pit bull. Do I need to bring up the statistics? This case speaks for itself. Protect our resources, Your Honor. Do not be tricked into supporting an unemployed, freeloading dog. Thank you, Mr. Bryson. Mr. Bryson, your defense? The plaintiff's claim is entirely conjecture. As opposed to them, I have concrete evidence that my client is a good boy worth adopting. Presenting Evidence A. Objection, Your Honor. Overruled.
Oh, my baby boy, I love you so much, you are my pride and joy. When I look at your face, I see your silver smile. For you I would go the extra mile.
Judging in favor of the defendant. Hi, I'm Bryson, and today I want to tell you more stories about this creature. And later, we'll be talking about his partners in crime, my siblings' dogs. This is Bo, my 5-year-old rescue pit bull. But he's the good kind of pit bull. He's never eaten a toddler. At least, not to my knowledge. He has Bluetooth connected to my soul, and I will love him forever. Even though he's the best dog of all time, that doesn't mean he hasn't been involved in various shenanigans, hijinks, escapades, and crimes. Let's take a look at his criminal record, shall we? To start off, let me tell you about the only fight Bo has ever been in. So there we were, with the other dogs. Then, in walks a Great Pyrenees. For anyone that doesn't know, a Great Pyrenees is basically the closest you can get to legally owning a polar bear. He was a big boy, and his name was Wallace. Now, Bo is usually good with other dogs, but sometimes when there's a dog that's bigger than him, he feels threatened and wants to establish dominance. Bo saw Wallace and immediately decided to F around, and believe me when I tell you, he found out. Bo ran over and jumped up to put his paws on top of Wallace. Wallace didn't like that. They started angrily barking and fighting, and the other owner and I quickly separated them. But Wallace wanted to set the record straight. He walked over to Bo and placed his paw on his shoulder as if to say, "Do you feel in charge?" Bo didn't like that. Bo growled and then jumped up to attack, but Wallace simply plowed into Bo and threw him flat on his back. No dog was hurt, but needless to say, Bo got humbled that day and hasn't tried anything like that since. To be honest, he probably needed to be knocked down a peg or two. It builds character. But, you know, lots of dogs bark at each other. Let's crank it up from a misdemeanor to a felony. He steals garbage from my trash cans and then stores it outside. It's like a dragon with its hoard of gold, except it's a dog with trash. Literally, as I was writing this script, I heard him start mucking around in the bathroom trash can. I get bloody noses in the winter, and my used bloody tissues are some of his favorite things to steal for some reason. I guess he has a taste for human blood now. It's probably fine. And of course, he licks everything. His paws, his butt, my face, in that order. And he also licks my arms and legs all the time. I'm starting to agree with the theory that dogs lick us because they know there are bones underneath.
How many licks does it take to get to your center, Father?
But those are still pretty standard dog shenanigans. Let me tell you about his most diabolical crime. His magnum opus, if you will. At my old place, I noticed that Bo had started to lick the corner of my couch every so often. It was kind of annoying, but he had conditioned me to just be used to him licking everything at that point. A few weeks went by, and he kept licking the couch regularly. Finally, I decided to check it out. Expecting a toy or ball or something, I reached in and pulled out a stick of butter. He had stashed it in my couch for weeks. As I thought about it, I felt more and more betrayed. This wasn't just normal mindless stealing. This was calculated, it was intelligent, and it was planned. He not only stole from me, but he had the foresight to stash it, hide it in plain sight so he could savor the flavor for longer. So I'd be there on the couch petting him and loving him, unaware of him enjoying his stolen goods. And then, several times after that, I'd come home to an empty butter wrapper on my floor. And get this, as I was moving away, we took apart my bed and found another stick of butter stashed behind it. I then moved into my new house and got security cameras, and look what my camera caught! I came home and my butter tray was licked clean! The lesson you should all learn from this is that if you're within a 500-mile radius of Bo and you think you still have butter left in your house, check again. I seriously think his butter addiction is why he has such a shiny, lustrous coat. Do his crimes stop there? No! As I was settling into my new house, I finally decided to upgrade to a big, fancy bed. In my old bed, Bo always slept with me, and he had some separation anxiety, so I decided to let him join me on my new bed. The first few nights went off without a hitch. Then one night, I step out of the shower and he peed on my bed! I immediately started screaming at him and kicked him out of the room. I stripped the bed, and fortunately, my mom had encouraged me to get a waterproof sheet for my bed. I thanked my lucky stars because it was almost game over. There's no power on earth that can unpiss a mattress. It was a close call, but my mattress was safe. I marched over to Bo, shoved the pee-stained sheets in his face, and screamed, "What is this? Why did you do this? Bad dog!" Bo looked at me like he had never looked at me before, terrified and trembling. My anger melted away, and I started crying and apologizing. Fortunately, Bo never peed on my bed again, though, because he's been banished from my room for all time. Seriously, this dog had it made. Sleeping in a king-size bed, and somehow he fumbled it. That's on you, Bo.
Bryson, listen to me, please. Please listen. Don't turn me into a marketable plushie.
That's right, we got a new Bo plush. Isn't he the cutest thing ever? Disclaimer, emanations does not sound like torture, but the feeling you get when they snuggle with you on the couch and give you kisses just emotionally makes it all worth it. Taking care of an unemployed freeloader who actively makes messes and ruins stuff is actually super rewarding. Who would have ever known that? Plus, he's not a human child, so he doesn't get offended when I call him stupid and stinky, so he won't need therapy later in life. But he might need physical therapy because he hurt his leg. We were at a park and I told him to go down the slide. He went down and I thought it was awesome. Then I told him to do it again so I could get it on video and... Up there. Up. Come down the slide. Come on. Yeah, no! And he hurt his leg. Just kidding, that was a lie. He was perfectly fine after that, not even a scratch. You want to know how he really hurt his leg? We were visiting my mom and he was walking on the hardwood at a normal speed and then he slipped and fell over and started yelping.
Sorry.
It was a freak accident and I have no idea how the slide did 0 damage and a little slip did 100 damage. Seeing my special boy have to limp around makes me so sad. Now he needs surgery to fix his leg, so I'll let you know how that goes. I will do everything in my power to help him recover. Although it is funny that despite his injury, he still steals my trash and my butter. Nothing can stop him. But I haven't introduced you to Bo's packmates yet. Let's start with his roommate, Brayden and Kira's dog, Winston. To help you get to know Winston better, I've made a list of his pros and cons. The pros: I like when he sits in my lap, and I like the way he smells. Literally everything else about him is a con. Let's get into it. His life is literally perfect, but despite this, he grumbles and groans and complains all the time. He has everything he could possibly need and more, and yet he's always like... Winston and Bo have a love-hate sibling-esque relationship. Winston clearly doesn't understand how easily Bo could destroy him, because he mouths off to Bo and attacks him all the time. I mean, look. Buddy, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because I promise you it would take less than 10% of his power to evict you from this plane of existence. Of course I love Winston, but he could definitely benefit from an attitude check. Also, wiener dogs in general are just funny looking. Dogs were never supposed to look like this, but humans were like, hey look, through selective breeding we can turn this noble creature into a cartoon character. Bo was very easily potty trained. I looked at him and said, you go pee-pee and poo-poo outside. And he said,
Okay, I understand.
but Winston's brain is so small that potty training just doesn't work on him. He regularly poops and pees on my carpets and